Okay, so quick outline. 45, mum of 2, eldest 16. Had a few issues with him. No major issues, but yeah. Then comes the daughter. Well, when they say boys are easier than girls, boys are easier than girls. I can't really pinpoint when she started being her, apart from really birth. Like laying next to me in the crib thing and volcano vomit. Yeah, actually no, she started being her in the womb. Scanning her, they woke her up, she didn't like it, and you could actually see her clenched fist come out and punched my stomach so hard. The lady doing the scan dropped the thing she was scanning my belly with, and I screamed so hard, so loud, they heard me like 4 rooms away. That hurt. When I was going down for beta, they said there's a chance that we could cut her during delivery, and I was like, oh yeah, it's bound to happen. It happened. She was so impatient, she headbutted the surgeon's scalpel, so she's got a like little cut on her forehead. So I call it her little Harry Potter wound. She didn't comply for the hearing tests. She passed it on the second attempt. When she went to nursery, when she was 1, it was basically a case of duck. She was putting things, I hope to say she was putting things away in her own style. And when she was getting things out, she was just throwing things over her shoulder. So people were just literally having to duck or be hit. Yeah, she's just a terror. There's no other word to describe her, but she reminds me of the Tasmanian devil. When she enters the room, you know it. You don't see her. She takes after me. She's the oldest girl in her year, but the smallest. But you hear her. My God, do you hear her? We got on a bus yesterday, coming home from gymnastics. I got the wrong bus stop, and she kicked off. So I spoke to the bus driver. I said, look, can you just drive us to town? And then I'll get on another bus and get the bus home. I'm in no hurry. That journey was okay because that bus was quiet. No problems. Went to McDonald's, had something to eat. Few issues when she got angry for waiting too long. Kept saying, excuse me. Tried calling somebody Dr. Range. I was like, Dr. Range isn't here. And then she kept saying, excuse me. Getting really, really shirty with them. In the end, our order was ready. And I was like, look, she wants to go upstairs and I can't deal with her upstairs and carry the food. So he carried the food upstairs and we ate our dinner. And then I said, look, now we've got to get ready and go to the bus. So I put a coat on her, put a rucksack on her with her reins because she's a flight risk, so I have to hold on to the reins. Number 1 bus didn't turn up. So we had to get on the number 10 bus. Number 10 bus was packed. and I'm starting to break because I don't like crowds, and there's nowhere to sit, and I'm thinking, this is not going to be good, not going to be good. My darling daughter has forced her way through the crowds, mainly men. Excuse me, move, get out of my way. She's barged through to the back of the bus. There are no seats. And she's stood there and she's looked at them and she's told somebody to get out of her seat. That is where she's going to sit. Bearing in mind, she's only 6 years old and she's about 3 foot tall. And they just looked at her in disbelief. And the bus driver is getting impatient. He wants to go. So I've dragged her by her rucksack, but she's trying to get off now. She's breaking free, back to the seat that this bloke's given up for us at the front of the bus. And she is kicking off. She's kicking me, she's hitting, she's throwing things, she's thrown her umbrella, she's thrown my phone across the bus. She's hitting and kicking the bloke in front of me and all this lot. And I'm saying her name over and over again, telling her to calm down, that the number one bus was cancelled. We had to get on this bus. I know it's too busy. She doesn't like crowded spaces. It won't be long. We'll be home soon. To please calm down and all this lot. And I'm just getting day looks and all this. And people were sniggering and laughing and all that lot. And I'm holding on to her. I've got my arms around her. I've got my legs around her. I'm clinging on for dear life. This has carried on for the journey, and the next thing I know, we've missed our stop. And that's just made things even worse. I can't get her off the bus. So a woman said, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yes, please." She's grabbed my daughter and she's carried her off the bus. She's dumped her on the pavement. And then she's looked at my daughter and told her off and told her that she should listen to me. And and then she just got back on the bus. I didn't even have time to say she's under investigation for autism. I didn't have time to turn and say, I'm under investigation for autism. That entire bus journey was hell. That I went through hell. Nobody offered help apart from the person giving me up the seat. They were just laughing at her, laughing at me. Nobody offered to help me calm her down. Nobody said or gave me looks of encouragement that I was doing a good job. All I just got was society judging me as a parent and my daughter for the way she was. And yeah, the bus driver didn't help matters by not asking someone to give up a seat so I could sit calmly with my daughter. Okay, he didn't have to, but had the number one not been cancelled, I wouldn't have been in that position. He was asking people to move down, but he didn't get out of where he was and tell people to move down properly. So we wouldn't have been crowded. I could have then been able to see out the window where I was going, so I wouldn't have missed the stop. I told the driver where I wanted to go, but yet I still managed to miss the stop because I couldn't see out the window and I was so focused on my child. And this is what society has got to. People with children that have special needs are being judged. We are under so much pressure. And I'm terrified to go out my own front door. I'm terrified to take my daughter out because I don't know what she's going to do next. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what we're going to be faced with. And to top it off, I had a car crash yesterday morning. I was going to my physio appointment, but I didn't see the car that I hit. Came out of nowhere. So it's deemed as my fault. Don't know whether it is, whether it's not. But my daughter was up the night before, coughing, crying, terrified about going to school because she's now in year 1 and not reception. And it's all different. And she's not been statemented yet. We haven't got any HCP yet because she can rein it in at school. School don't see what I see. I get then made out to be a liar. And it's just a nightmare. There is not enough help for parents out there, which is why I'm doing this. So if you're a parent and you can relate to this, you're not alone. If you've been in a situation that I've been in and think that no one sees you, just to let you know, you are seen. It's not your fault. You're not going through it alone. And someone does care. Unfortunately, thanks to COVID, there's a huge waiting list. I got told I could wait 3 years before I get my diagnosis for autism. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to go private. So you get all these stories about all these famous people that at my age are being diagnosed with autism. And yeah, it's great that they're making awareness that it's happening because the criteria was changed back in the 90s. And that's how stupid it is that because it was changed in the 90s for girls, there's so much backlog. But at least you've got the money to go private. You're screwed. Because the NHS is so drained. And there was a statement about a month back saying the NHS isn't going to prioritise mental health and cancer. And I don't know what the other thing is. Mental health was struggling as it was. And now they're not going to prioritise mental health. So what is it going to take? What are we going to be pushed to before someone listens, someone takes us seriously? Because parents are struggling. My daughter was allocated a social worker because I tapped her hand on 3 separate occasions. During her meltdown, she was biting me. She locked her jaw on me like a dog, biting me. Social services have come out. They've seen the way I am, deemed me not a risk to my child, and I'm going to be discharged. That's great. I'm not a risk to my child. But that doesn't help me deal with my daughter. That doesn't help me get the help that I need. I thought, great. I thought, yay, I'm going to get help. No. I've got a key worker. I'm going to be doing a Solly Hall course, parenting course that I've done already. I started doing the Triple P course. It's the American course. Oh my God. So frustrating. You have to jump for all these hoops before they would take your word for it that your child is autistic. It's just, it's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. But yeah. So if you've watched up to this point, thank you. I would say no judgments, no nasty comments, but that's the world we're in. That's the society we're in. It's bound to happen. So if you keyboard warriors out there want to leave me nasty messages, do you know what? Bring it on. I've got thick skin. Means nothing. But if I can help somebody realise they're not alone, do you know what? It'd be worth it. So I don't care. I'm not doing this to satisfy your ego. I'm not doing this to make you happy. I'm doing this to get help for people like myself, for my daughter, for kids on the autism spectrum, for adults on the spectrum, to know that they're not alone, to know that it's okay not to be okay, that it's okay not to fit in with society, and it is okay to have your brain not to be wired properly. So yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. Hopefully the next time I post it will be slightly more doom and gloom. So anyway, I'm Ali, and this is what is she gonna do next? Polite version. Okay, bye.